system. It calms all of those emotions, all those feelings, and it actually makes the day bearable. The thing I love about it too is the situation hasn't changed, right? But it gives us clarity to get through those stressful times. The other thing that I really, in fact, let me back up. This thing is proven to reduce stress and anxiety by 33%. I would say my experience is a little bit more than that, but 33% across the board, I think is amazing. And especially for people who have chronic anxiety, which is a real thing. I talk to them all the time. 33% is a nice relief. The other thing I love is it enhances your mental health factors by 24%. So if you've ever heard of nootropics, that is part that helps the body to be happy. It releases those happy hormones. And this patch is sending that signal to do just that. The other reason I love this is it helps the body get out of fight or flight. So if you've ever heard the term sympathetic space or parasympathetic space, when your body is going through chronic pain, chronic anxiety, chronic depression, chronic stress, anything that's been taking a toll, right? The body cannot distinguish between you running away from a bear stress or situational stress, emotional stress, a stressful day in traffic or at work, right? And the emotions are the same. The triggers and the brain code is the same. This patch helps to move that body out of fight or flight. Okay. Not into a sympathetic space, but into a parasympathetic space or out of fight or flight. This little tiny 1 by 1 inch patch has become a necessity. The last thing I'm going to say about this is if you have ever dealt with pain or you know somebody that deals with chronic pain, it can be sciatic pain, it can be shoulder pain, which was my issue, it can be teething. We do have a group here on Facebook. If you're not in it, let's make sure that we get you in it. But there is a video of our grandson who he's what, 19 months old now, and he's been getting his molars cranky, crying, miserable, and we were able to place a freedom patch, which is the pain patch, on his back between his shoulder blades, and the pain was gone. But in the situation where it doesn't quite take that pain away, it could mean that the body is in fight or flight. Enter peace patch. Now the brain is going to listen to the message of the pain patch or any other patch that might not be working perfectly. When you add this, the brain now can listen properly. So if there's anything else to add to it, Lori, please do. But you get 30 patches in this peace patch pack. That's a mouthful. And they're just these little tiny stickers. So that's it. That's what I've got for you for the peace patch tonight.
Awesome. Thank you, Dana. What a beautiful segue into our first testimonial tonight. I am elated to have our first guest on tonight. This beautiful soul has been coming over here for 2 years with her son Kai, and I don't want to steal her thunder and share too much of the story. She's currently right now waiting for little Kai to get an x-ray there. So she's jumping on for us. So I'm going to have her go first so she can share with us her story. Tawny, are you there?
Hi, yes, I am.
Awesome. Over to you. I'm so excited for you to share your beautiful story with all of our new friends.
Thank you. Yeah, so we started our journey 2 years ago. We found Lori and Troy, thank God, because it changed my son's life. The only reason he can talk is from neurofeedback. And I tried it myself. Unfortunately, I didn't feel like it worked well for my anxiety and my high stress. I would have panic attacks all the time. I'm just under a lot of stress with having Kai as a special needs child. And so I got introduced to the Liberty patch and Peace patch, and Lori put it on me. And like, I was like, okay, we'll see if this works, you know? And then I got home within 30 minutes from wearing the patch, and I was just in awe of what I was feeling. I just felt like I was in heaven. Like I was just, I've never felt this peace before. probably because it's been like years since I've actually been out of my fight or flight. Um, and yeah, I just walked in awe. My husband was like, "What is going on with you? Like, I don't understand, you know?" And I was just like, I don't care. Like, normally I would be freaking out with my mom coming over because my house was a mess. I had 5 appointments that day, like, super, should have been super high stressed. I knew I had stress. I just didn't feel it. I just felt at peace, like, literally the most peaceful peace on earth. Like, I was just like, okay, this is weird. Am I high? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand. There's nothing in this. So, yeah, all I can say is it's real, it works, and it worked for me. And I use it almost daily. Sometimes I try to just see, like, oh, maybe I'll wait until I have like a crazy day and like see if I get that same like crazy experience. But I know like the peace patch works for me on a daily.
Ooh, thank you, Tawny. You
Yeah.
guys, you know the story that Troy tells of our front entry room and people are coming over. Like Tawny was like, okay, I only sent her home with one. How do I get these? I need them right away. And Tawny,
Yeah.
we gave Tawny the VIP special. I'm like, Troy, you need to run these over to her house right now.
Yeah. My husband was like, I don't care what it takes, get them today.
Yeah. And that was a few months ago. And at the end of December, Tawny just reached out and said, you know, I want to share this with people. I really feel like there's a whole community of people that she knows she can help. And so she joined us to be able to share this as well. So I'm really, really excited for the journey that we're going to have together and for her, you know, sharing this with other people as well as trying out the new one. So thank you, Tawny, for sharing your story with me.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And I also wanted to add one more thing, and that is, you know, Tawny gives so much. She is constantly a caregiver for her son, and her daily routine is all the appointments for Kai and in making sure Kai is well. And Tawny has, you know, been the strong one of the family. And so for me, I didn't know I was going to get emotional. Um, oh my goodness. For me to see Tawny find some peace helps her whole family. And so she is one of the big reasons that I am doing this, you guys. This is real life changing stuff that we're doing here. So thank you, Tawny. And here she is joining us
Lori.
again, you know, waiting at the hospital for Kai. Hi, Kai. Can you say hi?
Hi. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Tawny. And
Thank you.
yeah. Okay. Dry up my tears. Now it's time for the new person. Someone else take over. I'm a mess. So our next one we're going to have is a beautiful soul that joined us in December. And we were excited to have her join the team. And the more we get to know her, the more we are just absolutely in awe of the mission that she's taking this on with passion and purpose. And we were chatting about, you know, the unexpected things that are happening with these. And I think it's really important to pay attention to what Wendy's going to share tonight, because I've noticed some of the same things that she's saying, and it's not something we just totally talk about all the time. So Wendy, over to you.
Oh, thanks, Lori. Appreciate it. I am Wendy Dayton. I live in the Denver, Colorado area. And when I got my samples from Lori and Troy, I started with the Peace Patch. So it is like a commercial tonight for peace. And within just a few minutes, I noticed that my body was just calm and I was totally relaxed. And probably within the first hour, I noticed this amazing sense of well-being. And it was like, oh, I recognize this and I really like it. So I decided to continue to experiment a little bit and I put a Kick It patch on. And I didn't think too much of it, but I am plagued with looping thoughts like most everybody. And probably my most concerning part of that is the procrastination. I can talk myself out of anything, and I do it very well. And so I started running some errands. During the holidays. I got started late this year. And just like Tawny was saying, that the stress is there, but you're not stressed. And it's like my mind wanted to tell me, oh, you got all this stuff to do. And it was like, no, you're chill, just cool it. We're going to just take one step at a time, one action at a time. And I noticed that I was out in the stores and I was happy and I was smiling at people. I was greeting people. I was wishing them Merry Christmas. That's not me. I just get it done. I get in and get out. So that was my first experience of actually feeling joyful. And I haven't felt joy in a very, very long time. So over the next, I don't know, couple of weeks, like I said, I noticed that the procrastination just wasn't there. It wasn't a big deal. I would be doing something and then my brain would say, okay, you need to do this as well. And I would just do it. And I might be a little tired, but I could still do it. And it was pretty amazing, pretty noticeable to me. And I noticed my confidence level. It was present. And a lot of times we hide because we don't have confidence. Well, that was my story. And I just didn't want to be seen. But now it's a totally different ballgame. And I noticed at Christmas time, my daughter always has a house full of people over for dinner. And a big thing I noticed is that I could engage in conversations, actually have something meaningful to say, and maybe they weren't going to carry the conversation further, but I did. That's not normal for me. And it was purposeful conversation and I really enjoyed it and I could engage with somebody at a very much of a heart level. It was just a happy dance kind of thing. So um, several weeks ago, I shared this with Lori and Troy earlier that my prayer was, God, tell me, show me what Wendy Dayton is really, who you really created me to be. Apart from all the baggage, all of the junk that life throws your way, and there's been plenty of it, and just with peace and kick it. I really feel like I've had a transformation that was easy. It was effortless. It was joyful. And it really did not take very long, to get into that mode. And it's like, wow, this is something that I have been looking for all my life. My husband passed away almost 4 years ago. And little by little, I found myself sitting on the couch more and more. It was like I was connected to the couch and streaming Netflix or whatever else there was to watch. And wasn't a healthy situation at all. And you know what? The TV is off now. I'm off the couch. I am sharing the patch stories and sampling it with friends and family. Most of the time you just don't go to your family with stuff, but I did. My mom is in a nursing home. She had mini strokes a little over a year ago, and on Sunday my sister put the Liberty patch on her. They've had COVID in the home. We put Defend on her and Peace to get her out of that fight or flight. So I'm looking forward to a really amazing story with her as well, because she doesn't have a quality of life. And so I'm enjoying life again. And my prayers are answered, and I have a whole new community of people that I can connect with because that is who I am. I enjoy ministering to people and helping others. It's who I was created to be. And I am grateful. And it's just I'm comfortable in my skin again, and I'm excited for what tomorrow holds.
Thank you, Wendy. That was so beautiful. I thought it was really important for everyone to hear her beautiful story, because we talk about things that the patches are labeled for, and then what is the big picture? Like, what is it actually doing behind the scenes? And I love that she was able to recognize, this is me. And, when I have a client that comes in and they're in fight or flight, they've kind of cascaded into not even knowing who they are, even if it's been from birth. Like, some people come into this world in chaos, and when we put a peace patch on them and they finally feel that for the first time, the most beautiful words that I hear come out of people's mouths is, this is me. Even if they've never experienced that before, they innately know, this is me. And so thank you for sharing. Thank you for peace, you guys. If you haven't tried peace, make sure you have it in stock, because it is something that changes the environment of the entire family. Since we have a couple of minutes, I'm going to share a story, and then I'm going to have Dana share a story. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
The story that I would like to share is, it's a story of a mom, super high stress, lots of anxiety, had a 1-month-old baby with failure to thrive. And mom didn't feel comfortable putting a peace patch on the baby. But failure to thrive, for you guys that don't know, it's a baby that's not gaining weight. They're crying at the breast. They're having a really hard time, getting going into this world. And baby wouldn't latch on very well, wasn't gaining weight. And my friend that shared this story with me said that mom didn't want to do the peace patch on the baby, which I understand. It's a 1-month-old baby. She doesn't know this technology, but she agreed to put it on herself. And so mom put peace patch on, baby latched on, and within 3 days, baby gained, I think, over 2 pounds. So when we help ourselves, we do help. It cascades into the ripple effect through the entire family is real. So thank you for sharing. And I love Peace Patch. So Dana, would you please share with us a story that you have?
Yes, I was going to share a different one, but I had a new one arrive today. And since we're talking about peace, I'm going to share that one. I have a friend, I've known her for probably 45 years. I know I don't look that old, but I have a friend that I've had for 40 or 45 years. She lives in Orange County, California, and she was really fascinated by wanting to try these patches. I sent them to her a month ago, and they've been sitting on her nightstand, hasn't done anything with it. And I finally said, go put the pain patch, Freedom, on right now. She goes, you only sent me one. I said, no, I didn't. Open the package. We had this whole thing. And my point in saying that is, it was a little bit of like, I just don't believe this and I don't want to hurt your feelings. And she was trying to be really kind. And I was really trying to get her to be out of this pain. She has had pain in her hips for over 6 years. She thinks there may be a little fracture there, but whatever. So finally, she puts the patch on. And I asked her, I said, well, how are you feeling? You shouldn't need 2 freedom patches. So she started with the freedom patch, the pain patch. One should work. Let's try one now. So put it on, and I explained right where to put it, a little bit, and on that back, a little bit, either right on the start of that pain or a smidge above, and let me know. And she goes, okay, I'll let you know tomorrow. And I said, no, you should know pretty soon, like in a minute or 3. And so she goes, I said, are you experiencing less pain? And she goes, I think so. I go, well, is it less or is it gone? She said, it's not gone, but it's definitely less. And I said, okay, let's put, since you've been in pain for a long time, let's go ahead and put a peace patch on. And that's when she asked me, should I put another freedom on? And I said, no, just put the peace patch on and let's see if that helps. And within seconds, I get another message. I think I'm feeling better. And I'm like, yay, well, the peace patch made a difference. And she said, I'm so fascinated. I have had full pain in my hip for over 6 years. I don't think I'm feeling it anymore. And I'm like, awesome. So I gave her some instructions. So basically, are you understanding what happened there? She was in fight or flight. And so the pain she thought was feeling a little better, it was taking the edge off. Adding that peace patch took her right out of fight or flight, and the brain was able to hear that code. So I checked in with her this morning, and I thought she was going to put the REM patch on. But she said, okay, I didn't put the REM patch on. I was scared I wouldn't wake up. So obviously we have to have another conversation because it doesn't work like that. She said, so I'm a pretty deep sleeper, but she always has a hard time falling asleep and feeling rested when she wakes up. She said, so I had the freedom and the peace patch on. I fell asleep, no problem, and early for me. I woke up feeling like I was rested. Rarely happens. I do still have the pain in two of the areas, however, not that intense. Game changer. So tonight she's going to try the REM patch. And so when we say that this can take the pain away, some people take it completely away. That was my situation. I couldn't even raise Lori can attest. I couldn't even raise my arm a little bit. And by the time he got that patch, I got home, I was like, I didn't feel it at all. And so I say that with Georgia, she's not completely out of pain when she woke up this morning, but by far much better. So now we're going to experiment with another freedom, and then we'll get a REM on her and see if we can't get some good sleep as well for her. So yeah, we're getting that. That was all today. That's why I didn't do the other one. The other one, I'm going to hope to get him on here himself to talk to us next Tuesday. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Tonight was very peaceful, wasn't it?
Very peaceful. Yeah.
Okay, well, that is all we have tonight, you guys. We are going to go right into our business opportunity. Troy Olds is a master at giving the business opportunity. It's about 30 minutes. So if you need to jump off, you can do that now. If you'd like to stick around and be a fly on the wall and kind of learn more about how you could potentially make some income with this and share it with your friends and family, stick around. So Troy, are you there?
I am here, Lori. That was fantastic. Wendy, I don't know, man, your testimonial was incredibly powerful. You said something that really resonated with me, and I was grateful that I didn't get to go on right away because it's really emotional. What you said, I think, is something that we all get to remember and hopefully are reminded of, that we came here with a purpose. Each one of us have something incredibly unique that is as unique as our fingerprint, right? And life and society and stresses cover that up to where we go into survival mode. And therefore, like, that song is, like, goes with us, right? It's never, the song is never sung. And I believe what Thoreau said, that most men and women live lives of quiet desperation. And you sharing your story of your husband passing, like, that's a lot. And how easy it is to go into these spaces of, sitting on the couch, Netflixing. And I'm just so incredibly grateful that you found this inspiration. Your story inspires me so much. The other aspect of what you shared is, like, you and I have known one another. We're Facebook friends, for goodness sake. We've been Facebook friends. And this is a message for everyone. When you put up your testimony on social media, someone's watching you. And Wendy was watching, and she messaged me, and over, what was it? Over a month to 6 weeks, we ultimately finally connected. And now we've been on Zooms and calls, and we've developed an actual friendship, a relationship. So there's a lot to this, you guys, lot to unpack. And I just really am honored to get to be your friend, Wendy, and have you in our lives. So thank you again. All right, I'm going to get the share going here. I'd like to get the thumbs up from Miss Lori. Do you see the correct screen with no slides and notes? Okay, fantastic. Let's dive right in, everybody.
We are poisoning our society. We're poisoning our kids, and we're letting it happen. The powers that control this country, which is, I think, big pharma. They're the largest advertiser in mass media. Modern medicine is hijacked by three modalities: chemical, a drug, some kind of electrical stimulation, implant, or surgery. That's it. There's nothing else. Till this came along, no chemical, and we can get people out of a stressful chronic stress situation, chronic anxiety stress, and lower it measurably. This is award Nobel Prize winning science. Within 20 minutes, you see a sad brain become a happy brain. 16 years and $25 million in R&D to get this to this place. And the world's clamoring for drug-free solutions.
If I put on that patch, am I going to feel the difference?
So the most reliable measurement of longevity in adults is, that means you're going to live longer. Whole world is chasing AI, right? What we're harnessing is OI, original intelligence, that we're born with.
Aren't you worried about getting whacked? Because if you really do that, pharmaceuticals, trillions of dollars, someone's going to send a black helicopter.
I'm going to say something that maybe I shouldn't, but I'm going to say it anyways.
That's such a powerful intro. And what Jay was going to say, among many things that are kind of behind, closed doors that he's talking about, is that he has been offered over $1 billion, with a B, $1 billion for the rights to his technology that took him 14 years to create. And that was from the pharmaceutical industry. And I assure you, that was not so that they could make it available to the masses at a low cost. It is literally so they can control it. They can control the pricing and hold it back from the masses, which is exactly the opposite of what Jay Dollywall is here to do. Over the past 5 decades, we have been trained into a cut, burn, or poison a person back into what we call health. And that is definitely in quotes, into health. And we're living in a traumatized and very sick society. And so what Jay Dollywall has created is a technology that is drug-free. Drug-free, it's safe, it's tested, it's proven, and it is affordable for the masses. So that's got some people very upset, but that's got a whole lot of us really happy. So who is the guy who did this? Jay Dollywall. Jay Dollywall is a fascinating human. When we started researching this company, generally speaking, a company is started by people sitting around a boardroom table thinking, how are we going to get rich? Let's create a product and put it into a structure, go get rich. And there's nothing wrong with that. But Jay's situation is vastly different. Jay came from he's an immigrant family. His mother was rather a seamstress in a Levi's factory. So they didn't come from abundance or wealth. They came from a lot of love. And Jay wanted to change that dynamic. And so he became a software engineer and he started writing code. And during the dot-com boom, he wrote code and created software, a security software that was very robust, and he sold that to some of the top companies on the planet that you and I are very aware of. Jay Dollywall earned hundreds of millions of dollars during the dot-com boom. And so he was already vastly, wildly successful. So why the super patch? Well, his mother, who's his hero, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 40 years ago, and she was given 6 years to live. And so that was intolerable to Jay. Having financial abundance is a beautiful thing when you've got someone in your family who needs medical attention. So he was able to take her to the best specialist on the planet. And he did that for years, and it helped. Jay's mother is still here. She has full mobility of her neck. She has full cognitive function. Much of that is because he had the ability to take her to these specialists. But what he identified in this process is all these specialists hit a ceiling. They just didn't know how to get her from this level to the next level. They really could not figure that out. And so Jay, if you get to meet this guy, you'll understand his personality. So I'm going to do it. And so what Jay did is he made a big investment to a library of files of individuals who've got things like epilepsy, multiple sclerosis, 250,000 files. And what he did is he sat down for 14 years and he wrote code to decipher what those neural codes are in the brain and what causes them to get corrupted. And the byproduct of that is the super patch. So you see the vastly different intentions where this comes from. Guys around a boardroom table, how are we going to get rich? Versus a guy who's already very wealthy, who creates a technology for his mother. 14 years and $25 million of his own investment. The byproduct is this company called Super Patch. Now, so here we have this technology. Who's the market? Well, it's a $4.7 trillion global market. Where does that number come from? $4.7 trillion is the amount of money that is being spent by people like you and me all around the world who are spending money on chemicals to cure a headache, right? For heartburn, for high blood pressure, right? For beauty aids. $4.7 trillion that people are currently spending on most products that are harmful, right? So $4.7 trillion that can now be uh, diverted into a chemical-free, safe, tested technology that has no contraindications, that literally puts the brain back into what Jay calls OI, original intelligence. And I love that he says this. He said, I will remind you again, there is amazing technology out there, right? Lori and I have a very expensive technology in our wellness center, and it's fantastic. None of it compares to the human being, the human body. God made no mistake. You give the human being the right environment and it will heal itself. Remember the last time you possibly cut yourself, what happened? Your body healed. And so that's the heart set of this company and this technology. So $4.7 trillion is being spent by 80% of the planet. That's 6 billion people. 6 billion people are currently spending their good hard-earned money on products that could potentially be harmful, and many of which we know to be very harmful. And again, we have a chemical drug-free solution for those individuals. Now, from a business perspective, if you're going to take your time and focus and energy to share a message, you want to make sure that it is a protected technology. And what does that mean? It means that you're going to have a leg up in the market, right? Some of you might know about Dyson vacuum cleaners. I love Dyson. Dyson's amazing. When Dyson came out, it had this really powerful technology, and it was vacuum cleaners, and they had a competitive advantage in the market. And they had a competitive market or advantage in the market because they created a patent. They patented the technology that they use in their devices. But what happens when a patent runs out? Then everybody has access to it. So now when I go to Home Depot or Lowe's and go down the vacuum aisle, guess what? Every vacuum has some form of Dyson technology. So therefore, no longer a competitive advantage. Now, when you look at this from a perspective of maybe in the industry that we're in, you've got people who are maybe selling vitamins or shakes, and they say, my shake can beat up your shake, or my vitamin's better than your vitamin. Hey, we know that there's some quality products out there, but to have exclusivity and a competitive advantage is almost like non-existent, because we know that most of those products are made at the same factory and different labels are slapped on them and sent to different companies to distribute to their distributor force into the market as unique. They're not. And so what Jay has done that is very unique and different is he didn't patent this product. What he did is he copyright protected the code that he wrote to create this technology. So he wrote it's copyright protected. And so what that means is for the life of Jay Dollywall and 50 years post his passing, we have exclusivity with this technology. Nobody's going to get this technology. So therefore, we have no competition. That's a great thing from a business perspective. Now, the other aspect of this when we looked at this, when Mike and Dana looked at this, when you probably looked at this, you were asking yourself, what does make this thing so unique in the market? Well, first of all, we're the only ones who have it. And secondly, it is almost indistinguishable from magic. So when you have a technology that you can put on somebody's body and within 30 seconds you have an instant result, that's remarkable. And disruptive technologies are things that, like our great grandparents used to light their homes with lanterns and candles, right? That was how it was done. And then the light bulb came along. That was a quantum jump, a massively disruptive technology. Our great grandparents rode around on horses, right? And wagons. And then Henry Ford brought along the automobile, another quantum jump in technology. The other one that I've really started looking at is the light bulb, right? Edison, like you got the light bulb. Like the difference is Edison had hundreds of scientists working on the light bulb. You always hear 10,000 tries to get the light bulb. Well, this was Jay Dollywall over 14 years and 25 million of his own dollars to create this technology. And I assure you, this is as disruptive as the light bulb is. Light bulb for lighting the homes. This is for the wellness industry. So I'd like to show you the technology. This is a gentleman named Ron. We were invited to a CrossFit gym to do a demonstration for the seniors. And our friend Albert Liu, he does these classes for our senior folk to help them stay mobile, stay strong. And it was Ron was a hoot. So I'd like you to pay attention to his feet and his face.
Down by your, straighten out that toe. You just willing to do it. Yeah. Hands down by your side. And I'm gonna push up. Don't let me tip you. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Feet together. Hand over hand against your chest. 3, 2, 1. He's stronger there. Okay, ready?
Okay, Ron,
Okay.
let's do it.
Feet a little, is he shoulder width?
No, wider than that. Wider than that.
Shoulder width.
Oh, right
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Okay, you ready?
Watch his
3,
face.
2, 1.
We're making you a believer, Ron.
3, 2, 1. Yeah, there's no way.
Funny.
Feet together. Against your chest. Now, I don't.
Ta-da! And so let's bring on the stars of the show, the super patches. So we'll go quickly through these and give you an idea of the power of this technology. The Freedom Patch is why we're even on this Zoom today. Lori had chronic back pain for 4 years, brought her to tears on many mornings, and a friend brought her over a little sticker, and she put it on her back, and the pain was gone. And it was mind blowing. We didn't understand it, but we knew it worked. And so that is the beginning for us. The Boost Patch. Boost Patch is fantastic. It is clean energy. It wakes up the nervous system. So you don't have to over caffeinate. It is clean at night. Just take it off before you go to bed. The Liberty Patch is that patch that was developed first by Jay for his mother with multiple sclerosis. It's called the Master Patch. This lateralizes the brain, lateralizes the body, increases stability. And this is the REM patch. Many people have benefited from the REM patch. A guy named Jay Glazer, he is the sportscaster for Fox News. He does a lot of NFL stuff. Had a really bad sleep. This changed his life, gave him great sleep, and he's the guy that put this into all the NFL locker rooms. The Peace Patch, this was what was showcased tonight on Testimonial Tuesday. There's so many stories here. We have a gentleman who went through 20 sessions of neurofeedback with us, and it changed his life. He had chronic anxiety, and at the end of his 20 sessions, which by the way is thousands of dollars and many weeks seeing us, helped him tremendously. But 2 months later, after we were introduced to the Super Patch, he was at our home for an open house, and Lori put a peace patch on his back, and he literally touched his heart, and he started crying. He said, "I've never felt so peaceful in my life." Like that is the type of technology that we have our hands on, and it's less than a cup of coffee. The Devin patch. This is for the immune system, the nervous system. We all have an immunity. We've got Dana and Mike have a great testimony among hundreds now. Mike was sitting next to our cat Charlie, and his eyes were watering and his nose was stuffy, and Lori put a Defend patch on him, and guess what? Within seconds, eyes dried up, and then the nose stopped running. Focus patch. We have a lot of kids in college right now that think it's cool, or it's like become common to be on Adderall and Vyvanse and all these things so they can study and grind. And grind being the optimal term there. Grind. You don't get an up without a down. If you go up, you're gonna come down equally so. So when you've got focus, this focus patch wakes up the nervous system, clears the mind, and puts what's next right in front of you with the ability to get it accomplished. So this is a safe way to focus and get things done. The Ignite patch, they had to do this testing 3 times because what they found is this will increase your burn up to 25% more calories at rest. That's huge. Joy, this is like the sister to peace. Peace is more from people dealing with anxiety. Joy is for people who maybe have more blue moods or even going into the depression state. This is one of those patches that as soon as it touches the skin, literally the sun comes out. Kick It, another favorite. Kick It was spoken about this evening. Looping thoughts, negative thoughts, cravings. Kick It. If you have these negative looping thoughts, you put a Kick It on, and within 5 minutes, the mind is clear and clean. Lumi, this is one of those, are you serious? You've got to be kidding me. Lumi is for the skin. And I'm telling you, I put on a Lumi patch and I look better within minutes. It's amazing. And when Lori put it on that first time, I was laughing because like, come on. But literally within minutes, her face was glowing even more than it already does. Rocket. This is for libido, the endocrine system, hormones, men and women. This is really bringing you back that youthful vigor, that fire, that drive. And the Victory Patch. The Victory Patch is currently finalizing studies at Arizona State. They have identified that this will increase athletic performance 17 to 30%, increase leg strength by 10%, and increase VO2 max, aka endurance, by 10%. You can see why pro sports teams are falling all over this. It's no contraindications. They can't be tested positively for any banned substance. This is just your operating system operating at its highest level. So this is it. This is the sticker. This is the patch. VTT. It's short for Vibro-Tactile Technology. I like sticker. And the unique thing about this is each one has a unique print on it, much like a fingerprint. And if you look at it, it's kind of like a QR code. Like when you scan a QR code with your phone, it takes you to a specific website, right? Well, each one of these patches has a unique code. So when it touches the skin, it is communicating with a specific region of the brain, right? So anxiety is going to that area of the brain, depression going to that area of the brain, focus, that area of the brain. And it is fantastic. I think what he says is absolutely true. This is Nobel Prize winning technology. So long as we get this out into the marketplace, he says, hey, look, it's too late. Genie's out of the bottle. They're not putting it back in the bottle, right? Now it's just a matter of how fast can we get this to market. Up to this point, it's been 17 years in development and 40 million in research and development. And to kind of give you an idea of what this, how it works is every bodily function has a neural program, including breathing, walking, balance, pain management, stress, sleep, immune response, and others. These neural programs get damaged or stuck for a million reasons that lead to poor health, wellness, and performance. If you've had any form of trauma, if you've had any type of a prolonged or severe illness, if you've had breakups, like these types of things matter. And these corrupt codes. COVID was another really primary example of people getting sick and then also getting injured, right? And what was happening with a lot of our clients is they were getting brain fog because those codes were corrupted. We have a client, dear friend of ours now, who literally would hold up a coffee cup and she couldn't tell you what it was in her hand. She knew it held coffee, but she couldn't say it's a coffee cup. And within weeks, she was brought back. So those are the types of things that basically, if you live on planet Earth today, you're going to have stresses and codes will get corrupted. Now, when you have a patch and it touches the skin, the pattern and ridges on the patches trigger receptors and ion channels in the skin that generate signals or messages that flow to the mind and help repair the neural programs, allowing our bodies and mind to operate at their highest levels. It's kind of like Braille, right? How blind people can touch bumps with their fingers and decipher that into code and reading. It's kind of like when we were kids and somebody would draw on our back and they'd say, what letter is that? And we'd say, that's an A. It's using the exact same pathways. The thing that is also important from a business standpoint, especially with some of the people that this is really exciting to, such as doctors and therapists, is it's got to be backed by science. One thing Jay has been very clear about from day one is he's gonna do the studies, he's gonna do the research, and he's gonna publish the results, whether it's good or bad. To our advantage, it's all been good. And it's because of those publications that the pharmaceutical industry has been offering him so much money. Most recently, and he said this openly, so I can share it with you, a big Canadian pharmaceutical company came to him and said, "Hey, we would like to have the rights to distribute your product." Because I don't know if you knew this, that Big Pharma is making a big shift. They are acquiring all the nutraceutical, as many nutraceutical companies and nutritional companies as they possibly can. Do you think that's to our benefit? It's actually a death grip on it, so that they can disseminate the products as they deem fit, and they can also make them prescription only, right? So this pharmaceutical company came to him, wanted to distribute the products, and Jay just, I love this guy. He said, "We have a problem. We are on different teams." And so therefore, he did not give them the right to distribute his product. Some of the people that are involved with this, the one I'd like to focus on primarily is Dr. Anna Toker. Dr. Anna Toker is the top colorectal surgeon in the country. She was introduced to the super patch and began utilizing them on her clients prior and post surgery. And so, you know a little bit about the patches now. The patches that she would recommend to her clients is the Liberty Patch for stability, because I don't know if you knew this. I didn't know it until I was told. There's 1 million falls in hospitals globally every year. 1 million falls unrelated to the reason that a person was admitted to the hospital. And of those 1 million people, 10,000 of them die, right? So stability, mobility. And so the Liberty Patch keeps them upright and stable. She gives them a peace patch so they can calm their fight or flight, their amygdala, lower cortisol. Healing happens faster. She gives them a REM patch for more deep restorative sleep. And she gives them freedom patches for pain. So that's 2 weeks prior to surgery. And then after surgery, what she's identified utilizing the same stack of patches is that the recovery rate for her clients is radically compressed. So what might take 6 weeks and prior is now happening in, say, 2 weeks. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's a radical increase in the healing rate. Secondly, the number of opiates being prescribed has been reduced by 80%. Again, you can see why they are being offered so much money for this technology. Now, from a business standpoint, what does that look like for you and me? In this industry or in business in general, we have 6 billion people who are seeking better sleep and spending 85 billion on those modalities. The 2 billion people who are wanting more energy. I just go to the Quick Stop. There's a new energy drink every other week. And it's a $60 billion market. Think Boost, right? This is REM, right? Clean beauty, 2 billion people spending $127 billion to look better. Think Lumi, right? Cognitive, 24 billion. That's folk. Like, you see what I'm saying here? You can start a company and be wildly successful with any one of these niches, and many companies are doing just that. Super Patch is all of them, hence the $4.7 trillion market we have at our fingertips. So why is it the network marketing industry, the direct sales, multi-level marketing, why is this perfect for the Super Patch? Here's why. It's a demonstratable product, right? It's got to be something that if it's on the store shelves, no one's going to do a stability test, right? This is something that isn't, hey, take these vitamins and let me know if you feel different in 30 days. This is do a stability test and they notice in 30 seconds, right? Compression of time frames, instant results. So that's one of the aspects. It's residual and recurring revenue. One of the things that Lori and I have been very aware of is that when we incorporated the Super Patch into our wellness center, many times our clients will come on board, they'll utilize our services, they'll get a tremendous benefit, and we don't see them again, right? It's party's over. Great, we did our job. Now, what we're identifying is with the Super Patch, they are always going to utilize this technology because it is so incredibly beneficial. So now every client that comes in our door is a recurring revenue, right? And a friend. So that's something to really consider, especially if you're in the wellness space. It's a built-in viral growth engine. Lori and I was so resistant to this. It's like, Lori, let's just keep doing Ascend Brain Center. No shiny objects. But she proved to me through consistent sharing with clients the power of this. And what's happened, we didn't do this as a business to begin with. We just shared it with folks and they shared it with their friends. I know somebody with pain. I know somebody with sleep issues. And they were out organically sharing this with individuals. And pretty soon it was like, we have a business. And so that's that built-in viral growth engine. It's a low cost entry, means more distributors. This is super easy, super simple, simple, low cost, right? The more people, the better. And it's a personal development culture. So a person can do very well with this financially. We'll get into some of the numbers here in just one second, but it's really about personal development. I believe that life on the planet is about personal development. What, like Wendy said, who are we meant to be, right? I don't want to end up at the end of my life and see a slideshow of what was possible for me. That would be the truest form of hell, right? So I don't want to go too far off the trail with that, but we have the opportunity to become our best selves. MLM marketing advantages. There's no change required. Human beings don't like change. Hey, you can lose weight, but you got to walk 45 minutes twice a day. You got to eat this, people don't want to do that. But if they can put on a patch, they will. It's a perfect price for consumers. This isn't an overpriced technology. It's less than a cup of coffee. Co-op marketing program. We'll save that one for the coming months. That's going to be huge. Regulatory and clinical compliance. This it's medical tape. In fact, it's the same medical tape and adhesive that is used inside of surgeries, right? So a person goes into surgery, something needs to be closed up internally. It's the same material that they're using internally. And why do these advantages matter? There's a lot of hype in the market, man. A lot of hype in the market. There's a ton of scams, a lot of Me Too products vying for, their place in the industry. Too many MLMs, too many things being run through this incredible structure that don't belong here. And people are financially exhausted. I won't go into all the statistics, but it's remarkable how the dollar has devalued 25% since the beginning of COVID. I don't know if you felt that. The issue of the economy is not going away. From a business standpoint, it is historic, and it always happens. When the economy and the dollar devalues, guess what happens to gold and silver? Goes through the roof, right? When the dollar devalues, when the economy is tight, guess what happens with people? They need to make extra money. This industry goes through the roof. What I see as my own personal responsibility is to make sure as many people have an option for this company before they get into a company that is not nearly as powerful as this. Everyone needs extra cash. I've shared the story before that there was a time transmission went out in the car, got 3 kids, didn't have the money to replace the transmission. I'm grateful that that isn't the case today, but I'm telling you, there are so many people who could use a few extra bucks. The gig economy. The gig economy is something you may be participating in. I participated in it very recently, as in the past decade. Had a coaching project that went sideways, and I went to Home Depot and picked up some concrete tools. And I went out and poured concrete slabs to make an extra money so I could take care of my family. That's part of the gig economy. But guess what happened when I stopped pouring concrete? So did the cash flow stopped. You might drive Uber or Uber Eats. Hey, fantastic. But when you stop doing that, the money stops. The difference with the super patch economy is the fact that it's extra money, it's quick, very fast, and you've got unlimited income possibilities. You've got exponential growth. You've got leverage. It is the perfect business model and at the perfect time in the marketplace. So the people that are being exposed to the super patch are identifying for themselves what makes the most sense for them. Product users, man. Jay's big mission is that this is the new medicine cabinet for every family, in the future. If that's all that this is people are utilizing these patches on a monthly basis for a headache, right? For better sleep. If you've got some elderly folks, like both my parents are elderly, and my mom's fallen probably 3 times in the past year. This has been a huge benefit to her. Right? This is what this technology is really designed for, is the new medicine cabinet. Promoters, you can share this with a few folks and make a few bucks. What we're really here for tonight is the business builders, individuals who really can see the potential of this industry, this company, its uniqueness, and the timing in the marketplace and the economy. This is going to go vertical. The industry is going to go vertical. More and more people will be looking and are looking for something that they can earn some extra cash. They just, what we have the opportunity to do is show them something that is legitimate, that's stable, and it's early. You know, this company is very early with the foundation laid, the kinks worked out. 2026 is going to be the ultimate launch of the Super Patch company, and it will be massive, massive growth. So I don't want to get all hypey on this. I know what I know, and I've experienced what I've experienced over the past 5 months, and it is unlike anything I've ever seen before. So you can catch the super wave. Uh, a little recap: the intellectual property is globally protected. It's had 17 years and 40 million in research and development. It is a $500 billion market opportunity. That's what Jay is going for, a $500 billion market opportunity, market cap, simple, no limits, no tricks. This is just a no gimmicks, straightforward, very effective technology. And this will be the last slide because I've got to update the other ones. But we teach you the steps to grow your business, your super patch business. This is a super simple business. This is, if you know anybody who's experiencing pain, anybody who has stability issues, anybody who deals with anxiety, maybe some folks who are struggling with a little bit of depression. Uh, Quick story: we had a client. Lori and I did an event at Shields. I don't know if you know what Shields is. It's a big sporting store, and they had a women's night, and it was cool. We did a little booth, and we did probably 100 stability tests. And we had several people show up at our office after that, but one woman in particular came with her entire family, her mother, her father, and her two daughters. And the father loved golf, but was no longer able to golf and was depressed. Lori put a freedom patch and a liberty patch on him, and he was literally swinging his arms around, swinging his hips within minutes. And the family's like, "Oh my gosh, Dad's going to play golf again." But the young lady that we were introduced to first, she she said, "Troy, I just don't have my emotions, right? See, I don't feel a lot of joy. I don't feel really depressed. I just feel flat." And her daughters, they're nodding their head. Yeah, she's emotionless, right? We put a joy patch on her and literally watched a smile come on her face, and she started to giggle. And she says, "I feel it." And her daughters were like, like blown away. So that's the type of technology that we have our hands on, you guys. I am going to go ahead and go to this next slide. We have increased. This is now a $14.99 package. This is what we recommend. We recommend that folks actually get started at this level. This is out of the gates, we did not start with this package, but what we quickly found out is that we ran out of patches and people were coming and borrowing our patches on a daily basis. And so with the Flex 40 pack, you get 40 packs of patches. So you have your own supply, and now you have additional packs that you can trade out for new people or you can sell. And the cool thing about it, it's a $2,400 retail value. So you're getting a tremendous discount. And with that, everybody, that is the slideshow and the business opportunity for this evening. I hope you guys got some value. For those of you who are new and seeing this for the first time, please get back with the individual that invited you onto this presentation, and they'll get you more information. And they're certainly can get you on the phone call with somebody in your upline, Lori, myself, Mike, Dana. And if this is something that you choose to do, welcome to the Super Patch. You guys have a wonderful night.